Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some more current transfer rumours and gossip. So lots to negotiate on this video today, but the first topic of the development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Harry Maguire, as I have been updating you on a regular basis. More additional information is updated about him. So a lot of media outlets are speculating, saying that Manchester United have reportedly put a £70 million bid in for Harry Maguire. Obviously it is Manchester United and Manchester City, of course, that are battling out for his services. Reports were reflecting out towards the back end of last week, saying that Manchester United had withdrawn their interest in Harry Maguire, based on the huge transfer fee that Leicester have currently put on him. We did get notified last week saying that Leicester, wanted around £100 million. It did say in the Daily Mail, they wanted around £90 million up front, with £10 million in add-ons. So it didn't literally say we had currently ended our interest in him. But looking at it, ultimately, Leicester don't want to sell Harry Maguire, and this is the main factor reason, why they've put, this is why the main factor reason why they have priced him out of the transfer market, and this is why, of course, they are demanding an extortionate amount. But I do think they want in the excess around £80 million, but more than likely Leicester, will turn this £70 million offer down and all that. But Harry Maguire did confirm last week, that he did tell friends, that he will be signing for Manchester City, because I do believe, he's keen on making the move to Manchester City and all that, because I do believe that Harry Maguire, wants to take his career to the next level, and he wants to rejuvenate his career and all that. Obviously, it did say last week City were set to sign Harry Maguire for the world record fee of £80 million. Obviously, this would make Harry Maguire the most expensive defender in world football, ahead of Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who, of course, Liverpool paid £75 million for. And it also did say that City were willing to pay him around £280,000 a week. But I think negotiations had hit a stumbling block, between Manchester City and Leicester, due to the huge transfer fee that Leicester are demanding. I think City are reluctant, to pay up to £80 million for him. And I think it did say Manchester City were only willing to pay up to around £60 million for him, but it did say City only initially value him at around £50 million. So if Harry Maguire, was to make the move to Manchester City, obviously, he would be playing alongside John Stones and Laporte and all that. But obviously, Manchester City have been seeing Harry Maguire as a replacement for Vincent Kompany. But like I did say, Manchester United are still in there for Harry Maguire. What I've recently read, I don't think he's got any intentions of coming to Manchester United. But we have got issues defensively. Obviously, that was proven last season, because last season we conceded 54 goals in the Premier League in 38 Premier League games. Obviously, our highest total in 40 years. And looking at, we haven't had a world-class central defender, since we had the likes of Vidic, and of course since we had the likes of Ferdinand. So we do need someone that can partner up alongside Victor Lindelof in our back line. And I do believe, that Harry Maguire, definitely, would be the right solution, because he's proven in the Premier League. I wouldn't say he's worth £80 million, Harry Maguire, but I still think he's a really good central defender. He holds his line, really, really well. He shows that ability, to play out from the back, and his defensive abilities are really, really good. And he's 26, he's still in his prime. He's still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him and all that. He has been at Leicester, a couple of seasons. He's made 69 appearances in the Premier League for Leicester. He has made 76 appearances for Leicester in all competitions. Obviously, he signed a new long-term contract with Leicester last summer, so he's under contract with Leicester, until 2023. And of course, Leicester, did pay him around £17 million for his services from Hull City back in 2017, because obviously, he had been at Hull quite a few years. I think he also had the loan spell with Wigan, and I think he actually began his career with Sheffield United as a youngster, Harry Maguire. But I think from his own preference, he's keen on making the move to Manchester City, and I think he does want to play under Pep Guardiola's guidance, does Harry Maguire. But Leicester basically are reluctant, to currently sell him, but they have said, they want around £80 million, but City are reluctant, to pay this. But there were a lot of stories going on about this, the other week, saying that we was confident, we could outbid Manchester City, for his services, and he says we was confident, we could sign Harry Maguire, because obviously, City are not willing to pay £80 million. It did say a couple of weeks ago that, Ed Woodward was keen on recommending Harry Maguire in, and he even did say we was willing to offer one or two of our players as part of the deal for Harry Maguire, to convince Leicester, to lower their price tag and all that. But I do really, really like Harry Maguire. Like I said, he's proven in the Premier League, and if he was to get a deal secured for Harry Maguire for around £70 million, that would take Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's net spend up to nearly £140 million, because obviously, we've already got two players on the board so far this summer. Obviously, it's our first two signings under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era. Obviously, we've got Daniel James on the board for £18 million. Obviously, we've got Wan-Bissaka on the board, in sign a deal with around £50 million and all that. But obviously now Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to want to build on that, and obviously I do believe his priorities now are going to be to get some reinforcements in that midfield, and also he wants to recommend a central defender to come in. So far throughout the course of this transfer window, we've been mainly focusing on the incomings, but I think also the club need to focus on the outgoings as well. So I think we do actually need to sell players to help us generate funds and rebuild the squad, because reports were coming out the other week saying that we've only been allegedly given £100 million to spend, and obviously this is nowhere near enough for us to address the deficiencies in the squad, and obviously it isn't enough for us for the number of players that we do currently want to bring in. So if we've only been given £100 million, that only means we've got £30 odd million left to spend on a central defender, a couple of new additions in that midfield, a right winger, and of course a striker. And obviously we're not going to be able to do that with £32 million. So the club do need to currently sell players. But like I said, we've got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer, because we need to see vast improvements going on into this season, because last season was very, very disappointing. We finished sixth. We didn't win any silverware last season, so we need to see vast improvements going on into this season. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer blatantly made it clear, he wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the squad and all that. I thought initially, we had been given around £200 odd million to spend, but you can see the deficiencies in the squad. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to build a squad, worthy of the club's history, and he has worked out his transfer strategy for this summer. Obviously, he wants to recommend a number of young players to come in that can grow, develop and emulate into superstars. And I do believe we are moving away from the policy of signing them well established players. But like I said, Harry Maguire is British as well, and obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to recruit British talents to Manchester United this summer. But I think Harry Maguire definitely would be the right solution for Manchester United and all that. I think he'd blend in alongside Victor Lindelof in our backline really, really well. But it is Manchester United and Manchester City who of course are battling out for his services. But like I said, it's going to be hard for us to attract players to the highest level, because obviously we're not in a Champions League football for next season. Champions League football is always very pivotal when you do want to get your number one targets, and quite a few people have said we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. But like I said, we've got to get the right players to Manchester United this summer, because we didn't spend out in January. Obviously we didn't get as number one targets last summer. But talking about Harry Maguire, he's been relentlessly linked to move to Manchester United. Obviously the rumours started last summer under the Jose Mourinho era, because our priority last summer was actually to recommend a central defender to come in. But obviously we didn't get as number one targets last summer, because the board weren't backing the signings that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in. But one of the players Mourinho wanted last summer was Harry Maguire. I think Leicester were demanding an extortionate amount last summer. I think they said they wanted around 70 or 75 million pounds, but Manchester United of course were reluctant to meet that. So recent reports have said we have put a 70 million pound bid in for him. I don't think this will be enough to convince Leicester to offload him, because reports have said they want around 80 or 90 million pounds if they are willing to offload him. But I don't think Harry Maguire has got any intentions of coming to Manchester United. But we definitely need at least one central defender. The vast majority of Manchester United fans have probably said we need 2 central defenders, because obviously Smalling's not good enough. Obviously Phil Jones is not good enough. Obviously Smalling and Jones being 2 long serving players at the club. Smalling's been here 9 years. Obviously Jones and that's been here 8 years, and it was bad business for Manchester United giving them 2 new long term contracts, but they're no longer good enough to represent Manchester United. We've also got Eric Bailly and all that, but with Eric Bailly I think Manchester United should offload him. I don't think we probably won't offload him this summer, and I think he's a really, really good central defender, and I know he's an imperative player and all that, and he's got great potential, but I think his Manchester United career has been badly affected. The amount of injuries he's sustained, obviously with his fallout under managers. He's been at Manchester United 3 years as Eric Bailly. But I think if we do get the I think we would be open to selling him, but I think we'd be probably looking to recoup the initial £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016. Also looks very, very likely that Rojo and Darmian are going to be leaving. Like I said, we can generate around 25 or 30 million pounds for their departures. Probably we do need 2 central defenders, but Harry Maguire of course has been one of our main priority targets. Like I've been updating you regularly in regards to Issa Diop from West Ham. Now obviously he's been one of our priority targets, as you all know. He's a central defender. Analysing it, looking at ultimately Issa Diop would be a cheaper solution than Harry Maguire. It would also be a cheaper solution than Koulibaly from Napoli and all that. But I think West Ham know how much of an imperative player Issa Diop is. It's been coming out in the last couple of weeks saying we've expressed our interest in him. He did reportedly say West Ham would want around at least £60 million if they were willing to offload him. Some reports were speculating saying that West Ham, would want around 75, around 75 million pounds for me. He's proven in the Premier League. He is proven in the Premier League. His Issa Diop, obviously, it was his debut season in the Premier League last season with West Ham. I think he played about 33 games, played about 38 games in all competitions, and I think West Ham got him last summer from Toulouse for around 22 million pounds, and he has got 4 years remaining on his deal with West Ham. But Issa Diop is tall, like Harry Maguire tall. I think he's about 6'4". Is Issa Diop. He's only 22 years of age, so he has still got a hell of a lot of development in him. But he's very tall, so I do presume he's very good in the air. I think he's a very, very good athlete and all that. But Manchester United have, of course, been in for him. But West Ham have said, they want at least around 60 million pounds. Obviously, he did say the other week, we had a 45 million pound bid turned down for him. We offered 45 million pounds. I think we also offered Phil Jones as part of the deal, but West Ham had instantly turned this down. And he also said the other week that West Ham were demanding Anthony Martial in exchange for Issa Diop. So obviously, he's been on our current agenda. Obviously, Koulibaly, do you think there's still a possibility of Koulibaly coming to Manchester United? I think it's very, very unlikely, because obviously, Napoli are demanding an extortionate amount. They've priced him out of the transfer market, and I think Napoli do know how much of an imperative player he is. And the Koulibaly saga, does still continue, because the rumours have continued to subsist about Koulibaly, since last summer and all that. Obviously, he was one of our main priority targets at one point, but we do know it's probably going to take a bid in the excess of over £100 million, to convince Napoli to offload him. Obviously, reports came out a while back, saying, well, was it about a month or so ago now, maybe longer, that we had a £90 million turned down for him. Also, Real Madrid had around a £90 million bid turned down for him. Obviously, we had 3 bids turned down for Koulibaly last year, because the process started under Jose Mourinho, and the rumours have continued to persist linking Koulibaly with move to Manchester United, basically since last summer and all that. But I don't see Koulibaly coming to Manchester United. He is regarded as one of the best central defenders in the world and all that. If he came to the Premier League, he would definitely have all the attributes, to succeed in the Premier League. I think he's 27, or is he 28 years of age now, so he has still got a lot of development minimum and all that. But he's been in Italy for 5 years with Napoli. I think he's played about 211 games in all competitions. He's still under contract, with Napoli till 2023. And looking at it from a financial point of view, if Napoli, could, offload him and all. If Napoli do offload him, they will make a huge profit on the player. Looking at it from a financial point of view, because really they got him for next to now from Genk, back in 2014. I think they paid around 6 or 7 million pounds for him. But Carlo Ancelotti, regarded him as one of the best central defenders in the world. I would say he's one of the best in the world and all that. But I just don't think Manchester United now are going to get a deal over the line for him, because Napoli are demanding too much money. So obviously now we've got other targets on our current agenda. Because I think Koulibaly, he's not fully out of the equation, but I'd say he's nearly out of the equation now of him, of course, coming to Manchester United. So like I said, there has been so many central defenders on our current agenda and all that. So it's very, very, very imperative, that we do, currently get one in. But like I updated you earlier on, in regards to Bruno Fernandes, I think it's good looking very, very imminent. He's going to be our third signing this summer, which is very, very good news. Obviously, I'll give you, more additional information on my previous video. Also, give you some more additional information at the early hours of this morning. Now, saying that reportedly, Manchester United have reached an agreement, with Sporting Lisbon for Bruno Fernandes and all that. And it reportedly said yesterday, according to reports in Italy, we had held negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' representatives and all that, and now allegedly we have agreed the personal terms with Bruno Fernandes. I think the only stumbling block at the moment is the actual fee and all that, because obviously we've not yet come to an agreement on a fee. So I do expect Manchester United to hold furthermore negotiations with Bruno with Sporting Lisbon over coming to an agreement on a fee. It did reportedly say the other day that we had lodged a bidding of around 35 million euros. Obviously this equates to around 31 million in pounds sterling. But obviously, this bid had been instantly, turned down by Sporting Lisbon, because this is too insufficient for Sporting Lisbon, because Sporting Lisbon had blatantly made it clear, they want around 55 million pounds. But it did say, we're orchestrating on, to sign Bruno Fernandes for 23 million pound less than what Sporting Lisbon, of course, are demanding and all that. So I just think basically, we should meet, what Sporting Lisbon are currently demanding. Obviously, it's very imperative that we do get this deal over the line for Bruno Fernandes, because obviously, he's been one of our main priority targets for quite some time. He's been on our agenda, for a long time now. But I think, I do believe, we're the only team now in the running for Bruno Fernandes, because it's confirmed City dropped their interest quite a while back. Obviously, reflecting back 6 or 7 weeks ago, it was looking likely that Manchester City were going to get a deal concluded for Bruno Fernandes. But obviously, City adopted out of the race, and it's recently confirmed that Liverpool and Tottenham have withdrawn their interest in Bruno Fernandes, even though reports came out last week saying that Liverpool had been in negotiations with his agent. Liverpool, I think, have already lodged a bid in for him around 45 million euros. Obviously, that equates to around 40 million in pound sterling and all that. But reports last week saying, we was in negotiation with Bruno Fernandes' agent, of course, over getting a deal concluded and all that. So I do believe he is going to be our third signing this summer, but we have not yet, come to an agreement on a fee. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, did instruct Ed Woodward, to speed up a deal to sign Bruno Fernandes. But like I've said on my previous videos, I do expect Manchester United, to get 2 deals completed this week. Obviously, some of the players, did return back to training yesterday. But obviously, we do go on pre-season tour within the next 6. Is it within the next 5 or 6 days and all that? We do go on pre-season tour in Australia. So Solskjaer is hopeful that we can get at least 1 deal, fully finalised, before we do go on tour and all that. But I hope we can get 2 deals concluded this week, and hopefully, that's going to be Bruno Fernandes and Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. But like I said, with Bruno Fernandes, very, very good player, primarily an attacking midfielder, only 24 years of age, and I think maybe his move now isn't dependent. Maybe Bruno Fernandes' move to Manchester United now isn't dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba, because I think even if Paul Pogba does stay, Solskjaer still wants to add 2 new additions in our midfield. But if Paul Pogba is to leave the football club, which is looking very likely, I think Bruno Fernandes would be a good adequate replacement for him and all that. Bruno Fernandes has served a couple of years with Sporting Lisbon. Last season, I think he scored 31 goals in all competitions. Like I said, he's been there a couple of years, and he's exceeded expectation levels, and he has succeeded. Obviously spent the majority of his career in Italy when he was younger, the likes of Sampdoria and Underneath, and I think also played for Novria. He's still got 4 years remaining on his deal with Sporting Lisbon, so he is under contract with them until 2023. But I think actually Bruno Fernandes is keen on making a move to Manchester United, because he does believe it will be beneficial for his career and all that. And he actually is attracted to the history and mystique of Manchester United. But Tottenham were in for him at one point. Tottenham had actually stepped up their interest in Bruno Fernandes the other week, because like I did say with Tottenham, they want to do transfer business this summer. Obviously, they haven't done any transfer activity in the last couple of windows and all that. So Pochettino's going to want back in this summer. And obviously, Tottenham are looking for the replacement for Christian Eriksen, because Christian Eriksen is relentlessly linked with a move away from Tottenham. I think Manchester United have been in for him, also Real Madrid, of course, have been in for him. I think Tottenham are on the verge of getting a deal completed for Tanguy Ndombele. I think is it a deal worth around £68 million. Obviously, Manchester United have been in there for him, and there were still reports circulating saying that we could hijack, a deal for Tanguy Ndombele. But I'd say now he's totally out of the equation for Manchester United. So I do believe he's going to be going to Tottenham and all that. But Tottenham definitely want to do transfer activity this summer. But Tottenham had been in negotiations with Bruno Fernandes' agent, but I think the valuation has actually put Liverpool off, and it's actually put Tottenham off. So it is Manchester United that are the only team in the running, of course. So I'm very, very hopeful we can get a deal concluded for him. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, did basically say, he wants to sign Bruno Fernandes and Sean Longstaff. And as I've been updating you on a regular basis in regards to Sean Longstaff from Newcastle, I think Solskjaer has instructed our board, to get a deal completed for Sean Longstaff this week. I think we've been in negotiations with Newcastle over getting a deal concluded. He is available for reasonable figures. Obviously, Sean Longstaff is a cheaper solution than Bruno Fernandes, because I think Newcastle have said, they want in the region of around £20 million plus add-ons. So I would say Sean Longstaff is valued from £25 million to £30 million. He did say we're preparing to put an opening offering of around £15 million, including add-ons and all that. But Solskjaer does want to get the deal completed for Sean Longstaff, sometime this week. So that's also very, very imperative. Obviously, I think Our hopes have been boosted of the pursuit of Sean Longstaff, following the departure of Rafael Benitez and all that. So that is very, very good news. Sean Longstaff is only 21 years of age. I think he's primarily, if I'm right, a central midfielder. Obviously, comparing Bruno Fernandes and Sean Longstaff, obviously Bruno Fernandes is a lot more experienced because obviously Sean Longstaff, only broke into Newcastle's senior squad last season. Obviously, made his debut back in December of last year, and I think he played about 11 games last season under Rafael Benitez, but I think his performances were very, very impressive. Obviously, not too long ago signed a new contract with Newcastle, so he is under contract with them until 2022 and all that. But initially began his career with Newcastle, did Sean Longstaff. I think he joined their youth academy in 2016. He also had loan spells with Kilmarnock and Blackpool. So obviously Sean Longstaff didn't play the remainder he didn't play the last couple of months of last season, due to a knee ligament injury he had sustained, and I still believe he is regaining full fitness now. So I still believe he's recovering from that knee ligament injury he had sustained back in March. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does want to get a deal concluded, for Sean Longstaff. So I do presume Sean Longstaff and Bruno Fernandes, of course, are going to be our next two signings. But like I did say, I do believe our expectations going on to this season, probably, we'll be able to finish in the top four. Probably will be to finish in the top four. I don't think our expectations going on to this season, will be to, win the league or transfer league, because I think, we're at least a couple of years off, from winning the league, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. Obviously, at the moment, we do know City strides ahead of us. Obviously, we do know that Liverpool, of course, our strides ahead of us. So it's very imperative, that we'll catch up with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool. And like I did say, we've been a toxic club for the last 5 or 6 years. And like I said, the main factor reason why we've been a toxic club, because we've been mismanaged. We've had different managers with different philosophies. A hell of a lot of money's been spent into the club, and we've been underachieving here for the last 5 or 6 years. Obviously, we haven't won the Premier League, since 2013. Obviously, that was in Alex Ferguson's last season, and all that. But we haven't won much silverware, since 2013. Like I said, we didn't win out under the David Moyes era. We won the FA Cup under Louis van Gaal era. We spent over £200 million under Louis van Gaal era, so we spent quite a lot of money under Louis van Gaal. Jose Mourinho, won the Europa League and the League Cup. Obviously, that came in Jose Mourinho's first season and all that. Obviously, we spent quite a lot of money on the Jose Mourinho. We spent just under £400 million under the Jose Mourinho era on 11 players, of course. But like I said, Jose Mourinho's got that winning pedigree and all that. But a couple of main factor reasons why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho is because, he had really bad disputes with the board. Obviously, he had bad disputes with the players. Like I said, reflecting back last summer, the board weren't backing the signings, that Jose Mourinho wanted to recommend to come in and all that. So that's why, they're the couple of main factor reasons why it didn't work out under Jose Mourinho. But like I said, a lot of money's been spent into the club. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is still in the process of rebuilding, like I said. But analysing it, the majority of this squad is not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. The only players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's at the moment is Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka, of course. But obviously, he's still inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. There's still quite a lot of players here for the Van Gaal era he's inheriting. Obviously, there's still Matthew from the David Moyes era, and of course, there's still around 4 or 5 players here from the Alex Ferguson era and all that. But like I did say with Solskjaer, I hope it works out under him, because he was a great player for Manchester United for 11 years under Alex Ferguson, and I do believe he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. Like I did say, he believes, does Solskjaer, that he's following a policy. He believes he's following a policy, that proved successful under Alex Ferguson's. Like I said, he's following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. But he was a great player for 11 years. Like I said, he hasn't really got the experience of a manager, not to the highest level. He did win a couple of Norwegian titles with Molde, so he has got a bit of experience of being a manager. Only had a short tenure with Cardiff and all that. Obviously, he also managed the Manchester United reserve team for a couple of years, so he does know the club inside out, and hopefully it can work out under him. And hopefully, it can work out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and I hope he's got the stature, to get us in that commanding position, where we do currently want to be, because we just want to be back, to being a competitive elite level football club, and that's very, very essential. We're never going to be the team as we was under Alex Ferguson. No one's going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We're never going to achieve of what we achieved under Alex Ferguson, and that is something, of course, that we've got to currently accept. But I'm backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I probably would give him at least a year or two, to see what currently happens. but there's still lots to address in the squad, without a shadow of a doubt. The good news is now we've got the right back that we needed, because like I did say, that full back position has been, a problem for Manchester United, at least in the last couple of years. Like I did say, we haven't had a good defensive right back since we had the likes of Gary Neville and all that, but it's good news now that we have got Wan-Bissaka in. Obviously, he's our fifth most expensive signing. Like I said, we need a right winger. I'm sceptical at the moment of Manchester United, bringing the right winner in. We need someone that can link up with the likes of Martial and Rashford. Like I said, we definitely need a central defender. We need a couple of new additions in that midfield. We definitely need a striker, of course, from Lukaku does leave the football club. So yeah, still lots to address in the squad. But hopefully our next two signings are going to be Bruno Fernandes and Sean Longstaff from Newcastle. But like I said, there's been other midfielders on our current agenda. Like I did currently say, I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, would like to see James Maddison coming from Leicester. Now, I like James Maddison a lot. He can score goals, he can provide. He's really, really good at creating chances. Is James Maddison, and obviously, James Maddison proving this last season in his debut season in the Premier League with Leicester. Last season, James Maddison created more chances than any other player in the Premier League. He also was involved in 14 goals in about 36 appearances last season for Leicester, and he's initially got 4 years left on his deal with Leicester, but he allegedly said that James Maddison is interested in making a move to Manchester United. He did reportedly say, he wants to meet up with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and all that. But there were stories coming out about this, was it around 3 or 4 weeks ago, saying that reportedly, James Maddison, it reportedly said, we emerged James Maddison as a priority target. He said, we made initial contact, and he did say if Leicester were willing to sell him, they would want around £60 million. Obviously, Leicester did get him last summer from Norwich for £20 million. Like I said, he served a couple of years in the Championship with Norwich. He also, as a teenager, he began his career with Coventry and all that. He was a product of their academy, and quite a few teams, were tracking James Maddison then. I think he also had a loan spell in Scotland, with Aberdeen and all that. But yeah, I do like James Maddison a lot. Can create chances, like I said. His tenacity is really, really good. So I do think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba, with James Maddison. But I think the vast majority of Manchester United fans, would actually like to see James Maddison, currently come in. Like I said, we are with Tielemans, there were a lot of talks about him, going on a couple of weeks ago, saying that we'd rekindled our interest in Youri Tielemans. Now, I think maybe Youri Tielemans' move to Manchester United is dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba, but I like Youri Tielemans. Of what I've seen of him anyway, he's proven in the Premier League his tenacity, and that's really, really good. Obviously, he's had around 5 or 6 months of experience under his belt in the Premier League, because obviously, he had initially been on loan with Leicester, since January. He'd been on loan with Leicester, since January and all that. And he was very, very impressive, throughout his loan spell, with Leicester. Obviously now he has returned to Monaco, but I think Youri Tielemans has confirmed, he will not be staying with Monaco next season and all that. But yeah, quite a few teams have been in there for him. I think reportedly now we have rejected the opportunity, to sign, Youri Tielemans and all that. He's only 22 years of age. Tottenham have inquired about his services. Also, Manchester City have been in there for him. I think also Arsenal were in for Youri Tielemans at one point, but he did say a couple of weeks ago, we'd revived our interest and we'd been in negotiations with Youri Tielemans' agent and all that, over getting a possible deal concluded. But I think Leicester have been in talks of getting, Youri Tielemans on a permanent deal, because Leicester were very, very impressive. And I think it's literally in Leicester's plans, to partner up, Youri Tielemans alongside James Maddison in their midfield, because probably Leicester do believe that, they'll blend in, really, really well together and all that. And, they'll complement each other. So Leicester are keen on getting him on a permanent deal. I heard a report that Leicester are even willing to smash their transfer record, to get a deal over the line for him. But he is available for a reasonable figure, because I think Monaco initially rated him at around £40 million. He's under contract with Monaco until 2022. I think initially Monaco did pay around £21 million for his services back in 2017 for Anderlecht, because obviously Youri Tielemans began his career with Anderlecht, and I think at that point, Manchester United of course were tracking him. So yeah, very, very good player. But maybe Youri Tielemans' move to Manchester United could be dependent on what happens with Paul Pogba. Obviously, there's more additional information that's updated in regards to Giovanni Lo Celso, from Real Betis now, and it does say, we are really interested in Giovanni Lo Celso. It is Manchester United and Tottenham, I think, that are battling out for his services, because Giovanni Lo Celso has been one of Tottenham's priority targets. Obviously, reports reflected out over a month ago now or something like that Tottenham had lodged a bidding for Giovanni Lo Celso of around £53 million. Obviously, this was too insufficient from a Real Betis perspective. I'm not, that obviously, Real Betis had instantly, turned this bid down. I think Real Betis are looking for somewhere in the region of around £70 million or something like that. But Tottenham, had been in talks with Real Betis, over getting a deal concluded for the player. And I think it did say a month or so ago that, from Giovanni Lo Celso's preference, he's keen on making the move to Tottenham. But it does say Manchester United are in there for him. He is only 23 years of age. Of course, he is Argentinian. Obviously, last season was his first season with Real Betis. Obviously, Real Betis got him last season was his first season Real Betis, and Real Betis did get him last summer from PSG. Well, they initially got him on loan, so for the majority of last season, he was on loan with Real Betis, but obviously Real Betis did have the obligation to buy. Real Betis did make the deal permanent, back in April and all that. But yeah. There's been a lot of talk, about Giovanni Lo Celso going on. I think if Real Betis, of course, do sell him, obviously, PSG, do benefit from it, of course, because obviously, PSG do get a percentage of any, sale and all that. But yeah, there's been a lot of talks about him currently going on. And I think his initial release clause is around £88 million. So do you think he would be a good, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba? We also need a replacement for Ander Herrera, and that is very, very essential. I believe we need a holding midfielder because, the man you match is too inconsistent, he's too slow. I've got strong reservations about Matic. So I actually think we need a holding midfielder. We've got McTominay, but McTominay's too inexperienced. Fellaini left the club back in January. So we probably do need a holding midfielder there that's fast and tenacious. But there's been quite a few holding midfielders, of course, on our current agenda. Obviously, as I've been updating you quite regularly, recently about Ivan Rakitic from Barcelona, do you think he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba? Now, actually, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has instructed, Manchester United, to actually go out and sign Ivan Rakitic as Paul Pogba's replacement and all that. But like I did say with Rakitic, I've got reservations about Ivan Rakitic, coming to Manchester United and all that. Reflecting on his age and that, he is 31 years of age now, and I just think at this day and age, he wouldn't, succeed in the Premier League. I don't think he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. Don't get me wrong, I admire his career. I think he's had a really, really good career as Ivan Rakitic. His pedigree's really, really good. Obviously, he's served 5 years there with Barcelona. Obviously, the majority of his silverware he has won has obviously become at Barcelona and all that. He can play as a central midfielder. He can also play as an attacking midfielder. And don't get me wrong, I think he's available for a reasonable figure and all that. But he is now 31 years of age. Reports came out about 3 weeks ago, saying that we'd made initial contact with Barcelona. We'd inquired about Ivan Rakitic's services, but the reports have, started circulating around the media again, saying that Manchester United now are back in for him. It didn't literally say we offered around £31 million for Ivan Rakitic, but that's too insufficient for Barcelona because Barcelona have said, they want around £45 million. So Barcelona have confirmed they are willing to offload him as long as they can get a suitable offer for him, and obviously if Barcelona, of course, can find an adequate replacement for him and all that. But I think he's still got 2 or 3 years left on his deal with Barcelona. I don't think Ivan Rakitic has got any intentions, of course, of leaving Barcelona because I think he remains happy in that with Barcelona. But obviously Barcelona have got Frankie de Jong coming in this summer and all that, as you all know. Maybe Barcelona are intending on bringing maybe another couple of midfielders in, as well as Frankie de Jong. So obviously Ivan Rakitic is going to find himself surplus to requirements. So Ernesto Valverde, who's the Barcelona manager, he confirmed they are willing to offload Ivan Rakitic and all that. Maybe he would be a good replacement for Pogba, but I just wouldn't want Ivan Rakitic now at this day in age because he's 31 years of age, and if he was to come to Manchester United, he probably would be he probably would be a short-term player because he's 31, and maybe we would get a couple of years out of him and all that. And he's proven that he can score goals and he can hold his line well, but I've got reservations about him coming out to Manchester United. Ivan Rakitic is a former Sevilla player. I think he served around 3 years with Sevilla. Obviously won the Europa League in his 3-year period there. Obviously had 3.5 years with Schalke. And also actually began his career as a youngster with Basel. So there has been a lot of talk about Ivan Rakitic going on. So what midfielder would you bring in to replace Paul Pogba? Of course, if Paul Pogba does leave the football club, like I did say though, if we sell Pogba, we sell Romelu Lukaku, I think we can generate around £200 million for their departure. So that's going to help us with our rebuilding process and of course with our transition and all that. So yeah, that will be very, very very, very beneficial. Of course, even though Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is working, he's working on being in the right place to Manchester United, but he's also working on trying to keep him as imperative players at the football club. Like I said, it's, when you're not in Champions League football, it's always hard to get your number one targets, and it's always hard to convince your imperative players to remain at your football club and all that. But like I said, I expect probably around 5 or 6 players to leave. And like I said, Valencia's gone. He served 10 years at Manchester United. Obviously, Ander Herrera, of course, is going on a free transfer. Like I said, with Diamond and Rojo, it's looking likely them two are going to be leaving the club and all that. We can get around £30 million for them. I said with De Gea and Juan Mata now, of course, they're staying at the club. Obviously, as we all know, we got the breaking news yesterday in regards to Marcus Rashford. Very, very good news. Obviously, confirmed yesterday he has signed a new long-term contract with Manchester United. It is a 4-year deal with an option of 50-year and all that. And I think the deal is worth around £300,000 a week. So obviously, this does make him one of the highest paid players at Manchester United and all that. I think he's set to receive in the excess of around 200 grand a week as Rashford, but I think there's actually no bonuses included, which does potentially rise up to around £300,000 a week. But like I said, we've been in talks of getting Marcus Rashford a contract at least for the last 5 or 6 months. Initially, Rashford was demanding around £350,000 a week, but I think this is a figure that Manchester United were not willing to meet. And at one point, we was actually trying to lower the figure to around £250,000 a week and all that. But now, we have come to an agreement to get him a new contract. And Rashford has got going on to this season. Rashford has definitely got to deliver, because obviously since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been recommended, and obviously Rashford has been our first choice ahead of Romelu Lukaku. And Rashford, in the last couple of months towards the back, in the last couple of months of last season, his performances are really, really inconsistent and all that. But last season he did sustain quite a few injuries, so that might have taken its toll on Marcus Rashford. But definitely, still believes is the long-term solution for Manchester United. Initially, in his current deal, he still had 12 months remaining, with an option of further years. So he actually has been given a huge pay rise, because I'm sure in his current deal he was only on around 80 grand a week. So he must have been given around the £220,000 pay rise, Marcus Rashford and all that. But definitely still a long-term solution for Manchester United. Only 21 years of age, still got a hell of a lot of years ahead of him and all that. It's going to take Rashford a couple of years, to get him to that level, where he does currently want to be. But he's under contract here, with Manchester United till 2023, with an option to extend it by a further year. So it's a 4-year deal with an option to extend it. Rashford in total has made 170 appearances for the club. I think he scored around 45 goals in the first team and created around 26 and all that. So his stats are quite impressive, I'm going to be quite honest with it. Rashford has been at Manchester United now a long time. He's been a Manchester United player, since the age of 7. Obviously, he had progressing up the ranks and all that. He's been in the senior squad with us since 2016. He actually made his senior debut in the Premier League, I think, at the age of 18. He made his Premier League debut against Arsenal in the Premier League, and actually, scored twice on that day. Did Marcus Rashford and all that. But yeah, still, we know how much an imperative player he is. And I said the club were not orchestrating on selling Marcus Rashford, because we know he's the long-term solution. Barcelona didn't inquire about his services, because Barcelona, we're seeing Marcus Rashford as a long-term replacement for Luis Suarez and all that. But now we've got him a new contract. This is very, very good news. And I did say initially this week, I hope Manchester United, can get 2 deals concluded. But I didn't say I expected a contract renewal, because I didn't expect a contract renewal and all that. But I think it's very, very good news. But like I said, it's very, very essential that Rashford does deliver going on into this season and all that. That's very, very essential indeed. But yeah, that's mainly everything to update you with Sanchez. Like I said, I'm still very, very sceptical about Alexis Sanchez, leaving at the moment. It's based on his substantial wages, and this is why we're finding it very, very difficult, to offload Alexis Sanchez, because obviously he's the highest paid player at the club. He's the highest paid player in the Premier League. I think his wages are having a really bad effect on the football club. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, I think the only way Manchester United can get rid of him is if we, put him out on long-season loan, or Sanchez agrees some kind of pay cut, or the club, are willing to pay him half his wages. I think that's the only way we can get rid of Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, we want to get rid of him permanently, but I think we're going to find it very, very difficult, reflecting on his substantial wages. I haven't heard more additional information about Sanchez as late, to be quite honest with you. He has been, since January, 2018, and Sanchez, hasn't been, the fundamental player as we all thought he would have been, because, he's proven in the Premier League, he had 4 good years out with Arsenal, he even played at Barcelona when he was younger, he played under Guardiola's guidance at Barcelona, he played, under one of the best managers in the world, and he flourished under his guidance, but he just hasn't, replicated this form at Manchester United and all that. And he's been a huge disappointment. Looking at it, he doesn't have a future at the club anyway, does Sanchez, because he's 30. He has lost that yard of pace and all that. So he's definitely, one of the problematic players. And all that, so I think we are working very hard, to try sanction Alexis Sanchez off, but I think it's going to be difficult for us, to currently get rid of him. But yeah. But it's going to be hard for the club, to currently get rid of him. But like I did say in the main part of this video, was to give you the latest news about Harry Maguire. I've just read BBC Sport. They've said Manchester United have, reportedly, put around the £70 million bid in for him. I don't think this figure probably will be enough for, for Leicester, to go along with it. I think it's just short of the valuation because Leicester have said, they want at least £80 million. Like I did say last week, it said we'd ended our interest in Harry Maguire. Like I did update you on, because obviously, Leicester said they informed Manchester United and said, that we want £100 million. So he did say they wanted 90 million up front, with 10 million, of course, in add-ons and all that. But I'd probably maybe still say City maybe are the favourites to get him, because Harry Maguire did say, he wants to make the move to Manchester City. But probably if Manchester City do get a deal concluded for Harry Maguire, probably they will consider offloading, Otamendi. Obviously, Vincent Kompany's already left after he served 11 years there with Man City. So City have identified Harry Maguire as their number one target, to replace Vincent Kompany and all that. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for watching.